Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. We've got a big sign in the background. It says Philadelphia Eddie's 621 Tattoo. Classic custom. Eddie's Tattoo. Yep. It's winter-ish. People have jackets,
might have been like
hats.
October or something like that.
You have like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 people.
Yep.
What's the story here? Are you in Philadelphia?
Yeah, actually, that's during the Philadelphia Tattoo Convention, which is one of the, if not the biggest, like in scale, tattoo conventions in the U.S. I think that was the first year I worked it.
Okay.
Either the first or the second year I worked it. But
is he from downstairs? Did I see his face downstairs?
No, he's not.
So in the photograph, basically, you're outside. You're in the front, right, leaning?
Yeah, that's me with the blue hat there. Yeah.
So 2 people are leaning on their knee, taking a knee. And then you've got the rest behind. It's, very urban scene. It's a close-up of a shop, probably overcast day. The photographer's in the street shooting the sidewalk where you guys are in.
So we just got a random person to shoot the photo.
Okay, nice. So why is this photo important?
It was just, that's the guy in the middle there, the big dude in the middle. That's Chico. He owns the shops that I...
Of course, his name is Chico. Of course.
Right.
Yeah.
He owns the shops in Miami that I started at.
Oh, okay.
So he's basically like the first one who kind of gave me an opportunity in tattooing.
Nice.
I was I had just quit going to school.
Yeah.
And was looking for something to do, and I started drawing again for whatever reason. I remembered how I'd sort of been interested in tattooing when I was younger. So I started kind of like doing some research and like maybe messaging a few people. And he told me I just had to have like a portfolio before I could really start looking for apprenticeships like that.
Okay.
So I started building a portfolio. I got it, pretty good. Messaged him again, met up with him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this is good, but you need more stuff. This is like, it's like half a portfolio. Try to double this, and then, we'll talk about, maybe hiring you."
Okay.
I kept drawing stuff, and I would post it on Instagram and tag him in it every time I drew something. And did that for a while. And then after a few months of doing that, he actually ended up messaging me like, "Hey man, meet me here and here on this day with your portfolio and we'll talk." I did, and about a week after that, I started apprenticing, man. That was about it. So I just started off like, he actually put me with a specific artist for a little while.
Yeah,
and
just to see and learn and stuff. Yeah.
But that didn't really work out. We didn't really, we clashed a little bit for whatever reason. He's also like a younger dude. He's like super close to my age, which I think might have been part of the issue, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And he also hadn't been tattooing for that long either.
Okay.
He's really good, but he also didn't have like as much experience. And I really wanted somebody to teach me who'd been tattooing for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that didn't really work out for super long, and after that I was kind of just floating around, learning from everyone in the shop, you know what I mean? I didn't have like a specific mentor, as we call it. And then after a while of floating around, I met this dude, John, who's not in that photo there. Yeah. He actually still worked here in Savannah. And that's who I ended up moving here with, because he was moving around the time that I asked him to be like my mentor. I was like, "Will you teach me to tattoo? I would like for you to be my actually like official mentor or whatever." He's like, "Yeah, I guess I can do that until I leave." And then until I leave became "come with me." So
Right.
So that happened, and here I am, man.
In terms of my work, so you don't know, I just came off the street, so reached out because I'm in Savannah.
Right.
So before this, I've been living in Vancouver, Canada. And before that, I lived 20 years in Hong Kong.
Oh, sick.
Before that, I grew up in Montreal. Lived in Montreal, and then in 2003, moved to Hong Kong. And the work I've been doing in Hong Kong, a lot of it is about looking at service. Like, what is service? Like, what is the connection of offering service to other people? Right? So your job is
it's a product and a service. We've talked about this already, like with with other people. It's a service, yes, because you're serving somebody, you also get a product. You get a tattoo, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So it's a little bit of both.
Right.
So it's kind of weird. It's a ambiguous kind of thing in that regard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So in our training, we say that in service, at least, which will probably be different in tattooing, but in service at least, it's like your competence isn't as important as your character. So in other words, like whether or not people trust you is more important than whether or not you have the skill.
I guess that doesn't.
Although in tattooing,
exactly. You definitely want to have the skill in tattooing as well.
Yeah,
You gotta need both in this one. Yeah, I get what you're saying though, for sure. It's definitely very important. We've had plenty of issues in this industry with just like people taking it, because at the end of the day, when you're tattooing someone, you have them in a vulnerable position.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And sometimes
I like how you looked at me in the eyes like that. You're just like,
have them in a vulnerable position. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like people have taken advantage of that. So there is like a feeling of like you kind of need to make sure people know they're safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So there's that aspect of it. Like, yes, trust me. Like I'm not a fucking creep. I just want to do your tattoo.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
But yeah, there's people out there who definitely will take advantage and do and say creepy shit while they're tattooing people. And that's terrible.
Wow.
You know,
okay.
That's definitely a big thing, having that trust and making sure they know that that's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? Especially when I'm tattooing like a young girl, I'm like, I always want to make sure they're comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things about the things that I train, teach, whatever, called service leadership, is like it's the connection that you make with the person, right? Like somehow the energy that you share with another person is actually what you're buying and selling.
Yeah, for sure. So that's definitely part of it, for sure. That kind of plays into the thing I was saying about like having like 80% be your business and then 20% be your personal life on like social media and stuff like that. Like, okay, now you're buying into not only like the tattoos I do, but you see what I like, you see what I don't like. So like, okay, I like this exactly. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So, look, why don't you talk about, so because it's a service and you're dealing, what we say is that like when you're making something, like manufacturing, it's all about simplifying the process so you can do it again and again and again, right? So like if you're making a car, if you're making spoons, you want machinery or whatever processes that are always the same.
Right.
But with service, it's always something different. Like you never, because you're dealing with people, everybody's different, right? So
especially even less metaphorically, even like when it comes down to skin, everyone's skin's a little different. You know what I mean? Like
no, I don't. Please explain.
The way your skin reacts, like older skin, like on like an older, like
snap!
No, not you specifically. Your skin is fine. The way what I'm saying is like the way your skin is reacting to me tattooing you. If I was tattooing older skin, it'd have to be way lighter because it just doesn't hold together the same way. You know?
Okay, interesting.
So like even when it comes down to that, like it's not just like personality wise, which of course there's different personalities I have to deal with. Some people aren't good at explaining what they want, and you have to like try to like trick it out of them almost. Yeah. Like to get them to say really exactly what they want to get tattooed because they don't know how to express it.
So like that. So because it's complex, and what we say is service is totally complex because people are always bringing in these variables that change everything. So can you think of a time that was you're just like, okay, this took the cake. This was crazy.
Let's see. I mean, I've had just like experiences with people not telling me that they have a sunburn or not telling me that they got super drunk the night before, so now their blood is thin and they're just bleeding a whole bunch. Or like, if somebody's like a really bad alcoholic, a lot of the time, the blood alcohol content will, when you bleed, alcohol removes these stencils. Like the purple, like my guide. So there's been a couple times where like I didn't know someone who was an alcoholic.
And they're so drunk that they actually...
Their blood alcohol will remove the stencil. I've had it happen multiple times.
That is intense.
Yeah.
Because the cliche is a person, I don't know, get a tattoo, but first time we get really drunk, right?
I mean, and...
Maybe that's not true anymore.
if you're not like a regular drinker and you have a few shots before getting tattooed just to give you courage, that more than likely is not going to affect the tattoo.
Right.
It's when it's like accumulated in your blood. Like if you've been binging for the last week, probably don't get tattooed tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Got it. So let's go back to this photo, Eddie's tattoo. So is the shop itself important?
Yeah, actually, Philadelphia Eddie is like this really old, famous kind of legendary tattooer from back in the day. A lot of tattooing and like, especially like the kind of tattooing that I mostly do is like traditional, American traditional. It's like got a lot of history and like tradition and all that. So that's like a shop that's been there for a very, very long time. And he's been tattooing since before it was legal. He died actually not too long ago, Eddie himself. But yeah, we kind of try to keep those old guys who paved the way. We kind of try to keep them on a pedestal and respect them. Even though some of the things that they might have said and done with the times and all that we don't really agree with. But at the end of the day, they did set us up for everything we have.
Yeah, they paved the way to a certain extent.
Exactly.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so when was the last time you got a tattoo?
Let me think. What's the last tattoo I got? I think the last one I got was from my buddy Taylor, who just moved to Colorado. I got a couple of railroad spikes. They're like gold railroad spikes, but they have like black paint dripping on them. It's supposed to be like a visual representation of this line from a song that I like. It's "Don't paint me black when I used to be golden." So it's just like golden railroad spikes with black paint being dumped on them.
Right.
I think that's the last one that I got. Unless I'm forgetting one, which is entirely possible as well.
Well, let's move on to the next photo.
Okay.
So is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting